Welcome to Live Edge, episode number next. I'm Matt.
I'm Amy.
Welcome to the show. Tonight, we're going to talk about biggest mistakes. First thing, we're going to do some mail call.
Call.
I think Mia's fixing a bark. She's on holler.
Oh, no.
We got some pretty cool gifts in the mail this week. Thank you guys so much for the support and just the generosity. And this is so overwhelming. You guys, how amazing you are. From Burns Studio, check this out. He made us some coasters with our logo on a couple of them, an anchor on one, and then an anchor on another one with the Outlaws 7/31/2000 with our anniversary. So that is really, really cool. Thank you, man.
Those are really cool.
And then Mr. John Foster made this he's from Caribou, Maine. Thank you, man. That was really cool. Virtual fist bump. We'll put this
Mr. and Miss Foster sent
Mr.
that.
and Miss. I'm sorry.
Yes, sent that to us.
You get a big old virtual fist bump.
Don't forget the Mrs.
That's right. That's right.
It's super cool though. It's like you got to show it from the side too because it's
3D.
Yeah, it's not just flat. It's super cool. So
3D.
Yes, super cool. Thank y'all for that.
Thank you. We do a Sala spotlight every week, and I've lost the one I had pulled up. Where'd it go? There it is. Yeah. So we had a Sala spotlight from the community, and this week, it's from the Facebook community, facebook.com/group/731woodworks. Go join, answer a couple questions. You'll be in.
Mo normally picks it, but this week it was chosen by
the moderators.
It was.
There you go.
Mo is out of town this week.
Bob LaBar is very proud of his son. He's bragging on him. This is his school project. Check that out. He made that all hand cut, mind you, all hand cut, a 50 states display. He's
also going to pour epoxy on it, right?
Yeah, you can see he's made the mold.
Mm-hmm. He's getting ready to pour epoxy on it, and so keep that keep it updated in the community there,
so
that we can see that. Because did he say what color epoxy he's going to pour?
I don't think so.
Okay, keep us updated on that because that's going to be super cool. I can't wait to see that when it's.
It'll be a tabletop.
It was a school project, so I can't wait to see that.
Yep, it's going to be a table.
So super cool. Super cool.
Very cool.
Talented young man there.
So, I'm curious. Have you ever made a mistake? I've made a bunch of them.
No, have y'all never made a mistake, right?
If you saw the video I posted Thursday or Sunday, I'm sorry. If you saw the video I posted Sunday on the router, I was making mistakes, and I made them 6 different times over and over and over. I don't even think she's watched it yet. She's going to be mad when she watches it. That's why I know she hasn't. I haven't watched it
because he told me that I'm not going to like it when I see it.
Yeah, because I'm going to be dumb.
That I'm going to be very worried when I see it.
So I was just being dumb. I was using the router. If you haven't seen the video, you can go check it out after this stream. But I was using the router, and I kept getting kickbacks because I was using it improperly, the router table. And so that's one type of mistake that we can make. And some people make those mistakes and lose fingers or cause serious injuries on the saw or on the tool.
You're worrying me even more now.
And like they can be detrimental. And then there's other mistakes that aren't physical but can be business wise, stuff like that. This kind of stuff we're going to talk about. A little bit of both. How you doing?
If you haven't yet, go ahead and drop your state so we can give you a shout out in a moment.
Yep.
And Mo will not be on the show with us tonight, so you will not see any comments with her.
Yeah, she's traveling.
She's at cheer camp this week, y'all. She is the coach this time. This is the first time she's at cheer camp as the coach. She's normally the cheerleader. So y'all send some prayers her way because she's there as a completely different person this time.
Yep.
So I'm wondering how she's doing. We haven't talked to her, so she was always the cheerleader. So she's going to do great, though.
If you have mistakes you want to share with us that you've made either in woodworking business, you can drop those in the comments and we'll pop them up. We can also take questions as well. First mistake was on the router table I was talking about. One of the mistakes I made early on when we started woodworking was, we were talking about it before the show, was taking on projects, not understanding how much work was going to be involved, and then not charging enough for that work. I've done that several times, and one of them stands out in my mind as being massively intensive work.
The table.
Yeah, we agreed to build a farmhouse style table that was stained but then distressed. And if you've ever stained anything and tried to take the stain back off, you understand how much work is involved, even using a belt sander. I went through several different belts, like 60 or 80 grit belts, trying to get the stain back off. And it just took hours. Like, it was a really big table. It was like 8 foot by probably 5 foot or so. So, I mean, for me, it was a big table. And it took hours and hours to distress that to a level that looked decent. In other words, just trying to remove that stuff. And it was really hard. And we didn't charge near enough for that thing. I don't remember what we charged for it, but I remember telling her, I was like, we didn't charge enough. We didn't charge enough. We've done that. I've done that a few times.
Pricing was always something that we always made a mistake on. I struggled with.
You did. And you'd be like, why didn't you charge more for that? You should have asked me.
Pricing, especially in the beginning, was something that we always felt like we made a mistake on.
Yeah. It's hard. It's hard when you're starting out to figure out your worth and what you're making, because especially when you very first start, you're thinking, I don't know much. I'm trying to learn, so I'm not going to charge as much. And that's fine early on. But pretty quick, you don't want to be known as that person charging the least either. So
yeah, you don't want to gouge somebody, but you also don't want to undercut yourself so bad that, and I think that's what you were doing in the beginning. You were undercutting so bad that you were really getting the short end of the stick.
Yeah, very much so. It's easy to do when you're starting out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Olive tree. Oh.
Hey, Georgia Peach is in the house on both channels. Look
Olive
at that.
Tree Woodcraft says, don't run your neighbor's MDF through your planer the day you get it. Took a couple weeks to realize I ruined the blades. Yeah, you can do that. Mm-hmm.
Oh, Georgia Peach said that your video made her cringe. Oh,
yeah, it's bad.
It was so bad.
It's bad.
See, I don't know if I need to watch it.
You probably don't. It's probably one you can skip.
Okay, see, I'm going to have to watch it. Am I going to be mad at you?
Yeah. Brian Donahoe says, I spent almost $20,000 on tools and set up before I sold my first item. That's not always a bad thing. I guess it is if you're trying to go into business and you're starting out, that way. But, I mean, there's lots of businesses that start that way. They'll take a loan or they'll spend so much money to get the upfront costs out of the way and then get started. I don't know if you're saying that's a mistake or did it work out? I'm kind of curious to know.
I heard there was somebody that we were talking to a couple months ago that said that they didn't mind having business debt.
Yeah.
They didn't want personal debt, but they didn't mind having business debt. Business debt is not something we have. We haven't gone into, we haven't gone into personal debt for the business either, but we also haven't done any business debt. We've saved up for everything that we've bought for the business and reinvest it back into the business. We've tried.
I really prefer to keep it that way. Unless there's something I want to go after that I just really believe in and believe God's leading me that way, I really don't want to take on debt. I'm
really scared to.
I just don't like it.
A lot of people,
especially if you're living comfortably and you're making decent and
But a lot of people, they'll watch videos and they'll hate on us on something that we buy. But what a lot of people don't understand is the truck that he drives is paid for and it's old and the back glass leaks every time it rains to the point that it's
most times
that it's molding in the back. I mean, he's got an old vehicle and we don't spend money on certain things. And, we make sacrifices in other ways. And so that we don't have to go into debt on certain
it's not
things.
always a bad thing. So like for instance, if at some point I decide to build a shop, that'll be debt we take on. Or if we want to go into a new business venture, then we may take on debt to do that.
Right.
That's it really depends on the situation. I'm not saying we're ever going to do it because I think we will.
We've talked about it.
It's just one of those things we would tread thoughtfully into it. Well,
we're waiting because we're not sure yet when we will need to, have to, want to.
Another mistake that we made that I didn't realize we were making early on was, and we've talked about it before, is we didn't set up a proper business early enough, like the LLC, and then get an accountant, separate bank accounts for the business and personal, because for a long time we run as a sole proprietor and everything just kind of mixed and mashed together. And there's so many tax breaks you can get as a small business once you break it out. And I'm not a tax attorney. I'm not giving tax advice. Just go seek out a U.S. CPA. That has really benefited the business side of things when we've done that. last year. And it was that long that we were in business and before we broke it out. That's just one of those things that, man, it's unreal how much savings you can do if you do it correctly.
Yeah.
Not that we weren't doing it by the books. We were doing it legally, sole proprietor wise.
But we were paying more.
Yeah, but we were paying more.
Because we didn't know the tax breaks that were available to us.
Yep.
So we were actually shooting our own selves in the foot because we were not getting tax breaks due to us.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a big mistake we were making. So yeah, there are things that are available to a lot of you guys out there that you may not know about because like us, we were scared that it would cost us more to go hire an accountant. We thought an accountant would cost too much for us to go get, or the paperwork and all that stuff would cost too much, and maybe we didn't have the money to set all that up yet. But in actuality, it was cheaper for us to go that route. And
her saying that made me think of a giant mistake that I didn't think about until just now. I took it upon myself to find us an accountant, and I went searching on the internet for an accountant and found an internet accountant. And so what did I do?
Yeah.
I had a call with them, and they sold me this bill of goods, and then I signed up with them and paid them a good chunk of money for an annual contract.
Several
thousand. It wasn't a contract because, it was a contract.
It was a contract.
But you had so many days to get out of it, right? So I signed up for this thing, and then the guy that called from this company was a different guy than I talked to on the phone, and it was bad. Couldn't answer questions, was like chewing food on the call. Like, it was very unprofessional, was belching. Like, it was bad. And we both were on that call, and I was so sick. I was sick. I was like, oh no, what do we do? Started reading the contract. You had so many days to get out of it, and we did, thankfully. But man, I don't know. Yeah, I just knew that it was a bad mistake because the guy that we were talking to had no clue. No clue. He was talking about doing some shady stuff. I was like, no, we're doing stuff by the books. And he was wanting to go back and do things from the previous year that we'd already filed on. And I was like, no, man.
He was wanting to try to backdate stuff with the IRS.
Backdate things. I was like, whoa, I'm not doing that.
He was wanting to basically tell the IRS that we forgot to do stuff, and we don't do that. We don't do that. We are by the books on everything. I keep every receipt. I don't lie on any of that stuff. I don't play that game.
Yeah, that was bad. I was so scared that
when
we had
he
wasted
did that,
so much
we were
money.
like,
I was
nope.
like, oh no.
Yeah, I don't play that game. I don't lie to Uncle Sam about anything. I keep every receipt, and I'm down to the penny on everything. I don't even like it when you enter the forms and the IRS has a thing where they automatically round the penny up or down. And that bothers me. I hate that. I wish they wouldn't do that.
Penny.
I like it to be exact, but there's nothing you can do about that. But anyway, I was
that
like,
was
nope.
Scary. That was really scary.
I was so glad that we were able to fix that and get out of that with them. But it took
some doing.
It took some doing to get all that fixed, but we were able to get with an actual real accountant who was by the book.
Well, we also had good references on him too, so that makes a big difference. And the other one was just I searched the internet, best online accountants, and it gives you a list of so many companies, and I read through some stuff.
I wasn't here.
She wasn't here, but when I got on the call, we were talking back and forth about it. It's not like I make the decision by myself, but we were talking back and forth about it. But the guy I talked to was different than the guy that gave us the phone call on the actual thing. Anyway,
as soon as I got home, I looked on
Better Business Bureau. I never thought to look on there in my life.
I looked on there for everything, and there were so many complaints against this company. But when we started talking to an actual accountant, the accountant was like, "No, you never want to backdate anything.
Nope,
that triggers all kinds of stuff. You would never do that. No, you pay a penalty because you didn't do this." And
is that you?
No, I don't know what that was.
No.
You got Siri going on your phone.
What's she trying to talk to about?
That's your phone
trying to
over
listen
there.
to us. What she's trying to do.
Yeah. So big mistake there. Do everything by the books and go ahead and get your accountant going in the beginning. Trust me, it will save you tax
as
credits.
early as you can, it'll be better.
Yes. Yep. It is cheaper to do it in the beginning though. Don't worry about the cost of the accountant in the beginning. Trust me, it will. The tax credits make up for it. Trust me.
Yeah, if you're making
go to
profit,
a good place.
if you're making profit and making money woodworking, then I would recommend it.
It's worth it from the beginning. So
another mistake I made early on was not seeing big picture as a content creator. Now, a lot of people's not doing that, but some of you are. There's a lot of opportunities out there that will manifest the longer you do it that you're not thinking about now as early on. So like my first year or two, I signed up for talking affiliate sales and things like that. So that stuff can compound if you start early and start doing that. I mean, one of the reasons I like affiliate sales, what an affiliate is basically is if I have a product or I talk about a product and I say link in the description, if that link is an affiliate, somebody clicks and goes buy that product, then we get a small commission off of that. One of the main reasons I like that is because the only products I put or talk about on the channel are something I actually would use or like. Now I've gotten things from companies that sent to me or I've bought them and they come in and I'm like, I'm not showing that. I don't like it. It's junk or it's not any good. So there's things that come through the shop that I have had companies send me stuff and I'm not showing that, man. This is what's wrong with it. I don't like this part of it. And then ship it back or they'll tell me to junk it or whatever. But as far as affiliate sales go, if you're starting making content, that's something that cool. It's just a constant. It's a way to diversify your income. And it's a good way to build as you build your audience and things like that. So if you're into content creation.
So Mike is asking what makes a good accountant and how do you know what to look for?
Well, Mike, we had a friend.
A reference.
A reference.
But here's something I'm going to say on that. A good accountant, in my opinion, is an accountant that works 12 months out of the year. Not somebody who works during tax season.
Yeah.
Because, and this is why I say this, I used to work for a law firm. We had accountants that worked 12 months out of the year. Those were the only kind of accountants that we would work with. Because those are the kind of accountants that were the seasoned ones. Those are the ones that know all of the tax laws. Those are the ones that work 12 months out of the year. They're the ones that are always going to stay on top of things. They're not the ones that want the fast rebates and all those things. I think
she's talking about the chain ones.
Yeah.
So for instance, we file quarterly. So that accountant is getting stuff from us. She just keeps all the books. So every quarter she's sending the accountant, all the ins and outs, the balance sheets, all that stuff to the accountant. And he goes through and files everything for us. And then of course we got to sign and all that stuff. So it's just, he kind of double checks everything, make sure we're getting what breaks we need. And then does
you
his
want
thing.
Somebody who's a certified public accountant. They need to be that CPA, certified public. Somebody who's got a tax accountant.
Not giving tax advice.
Yeah. Somebody who's got a tax accountant office, not somebody who's working out of their garage in their backyard or something. We're not giving tax advice here, but
you might have a good accountant that works from home.
Well, yeah, I mean, you might have somebody, but what I mean is somebody who's actually doing legit taxes 12 months out of the year, not somebody who's just doing this during tax season, and somebody who's got references. References.
Yeah, references are going to be key.
Make sure that it's somebody who has references, who knows what they're doing, who knows all of the tax laws, somebody who can talk to you and make sure they can answer your questions. If you
that's
question
one of the
them,
things that the online account we were talking to couldn't answer questions.
Ask them a ton of questions.
Or simple stuff that I like.
Ask them a ton of questions. Ask them. Say, okay, look, if I get audited about this, what's going to happen? Look up questions online that you would have no idea what the answers would be to. Just look up a ton of questions and then go to that person and start giving them random questions and see if they can answer you. Just see if they can answer your questions. One
of the questions I had to the online accountant was about when we set up our LLC, should we be an S Corp or C Corp? I didn't understand that. I knew that S Corp could get certain tax breaks and things, or I'd read that. So I was asking that, and he's like, oh yeah, we can go back. That's the stuff he's talking about backdating. He's like, we could just go back and backdate paperwork showing your S corp last year. What? You can't, how are you gonna do that? That stuff has to be filed.
Ask them that. Say, hey, how do I set up an S corp? How do I set up an LLC? Can I backdate stuff? If they start giving you shady answers,
you know, it's probably not right.
They're not going to be a good one. So just question them.
The CPA we're using, I asked him, well, he said, I'll always tell you what's right and what's wrong. And if you're getting into a gray area, I'm going to tell you you're in a gray area. And if it triggers an audit, you're going to be in trouble if it goes your way. He said, I'll tell you right from wrong and then gray. I was like, good enough. Super chat. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Clark. He said, how big of a mistake will it be to not retire Amy now? Do you think the blessings will not supersede delay? God has more blessings as faith.
I think she's being led to stay another year. Yeah. And so as long as she's feeling,
a contract now,
as long as she's feeling led to do that, then we're going to support her 110%.
I'm tied into my contract too.
Sean Gleason says, what's your opinion on buying wood from stores like Woodcraft and Woodpeckers when it's on sale for 40 or 50% off? Absolutely. I've done it. I've got some really good deals on Purple Heart, especially 3/4 stock. They'll put up their 3/4 inch by 4 or 5 inch wide, 4 foot long for 40, 50% off. That is a heck of a deal, especially with lumber as high as it is. But yeah.
Kent says, my accountant is Dewey, Cheatham, and Ho.
That's terrible.
Oh, goodness.
H2 Woodshop says his biggest mistake was not starting woodworking earlier in life.
Yep.
I agree with that.
You know, a lot of people say that, though. Yeah. I keep saying that I want to get my channel started, and I still haven't done it. And it's summertime now, and I still haven't done it.
Yeah.
But I will tell you guys, I moved my KitchenAids back out. I dusted them off.
She cooked something.
And I started cooking. I started baking again. I did.
She cooks every night.
Yeah, I cook every night, but I did. I finally started baking, y'all. I finally got them out. My left hand is not listening to me all the time. I haven't been able to get it to what was it I was trying to do? Give Mia her medicine. I haven't been able to make it. It's going to sound weird when I say this. It's not listening to my commands when I try to make it do certain actions, but I did start baking again. Yep. So
that's awesome.
I have started baking again. It's not listening to everything I say when I'm doing stuff, but I did start baking again. So
one of the when Sean Gleason's questions about the hardwood made me think of another mistake I made was I wouldn't use hardwoods for a couple of years because I was intimidated by them. I was like, you know, they're expensive. Where do you buy them at? How do you get them? And I've got a couple of videos on the channel that talk about buying hardwoods, and that's one of the things that I regret because I could have been making more money selling hardwood things versus pine or softwood things. So in certain things. And so I was so nervous or scared about buying that stuff that I wouldn't even touch it. So that's one of the mistakes I made.
Jamie McFarland says, and one that follows the IRS code of ethics for preparers or CPAs. Absolutely. Yeah. And just morals. Just has morals. That was my thing. That one online place had no morals.
No. Well, the guy we talked to for sure.
Yeah. He didn't even have good manners.
And Just Woodwork says, biggest mistake was buying tools as I needed them before really needing them. More research is beneficial than jumping the gun. I agree. I tend to over-research things. I've been looking at a backup system for my media. If anybody has suggestions, I'm all ears. And I emailed 2 companies, and one of them replied a broad answer. I was like, this is what I want. This is what I need out of this because I want to be able to. So it's basically a NAS, network attached storage, where I can store all my data or my media. It can be backed up to the cloud, and then also I can edit straight from the NAS, so I don't have to keep filling up this laptop because it just keeps every video it keeps running out of space. So what was I going with that? I don't know. I need to be able to do that. And what's bad is I have one of these. Can I pick this up? One of these
PLC.
Western Digital hard drives, like a 14 terabyte or something, that had like the last year's worth of videos on it, is corrupt, and so I can't get my videos off. Any footage that I have from those, they're all posted, but I go back and get B-roll all the time from that, or video to put on a video, more video footage to put on a current video. And one of the mistakes I make is I overanalyze everything. So I'm constantly just researching those 2 type NASA's I'm looking at.
PLC Woodwork said kind of like Matt, not listening to commands.
What's that supposed to mean?
Because I said my hand. And then Stephen Copehead said that he has a leg like that, not listening to commands.
Yeah. Jorge says we need to try those famous s'mores cookies here in Puerto Rico. We have to swap some Puerto Rican coffee for s'mores cookies.
Yeah. There we go.
I don't know how they would travel. They might do all right.
Hey, I tell you what, it felt so good to get my KitchenAids back out, though, and to make some stuff. I spent like
Thank you,
5
Ninja.
hours in there the other day, and like 5 hours straight in there. It
Just
felt
baking.
so good. Yeah, I loved it. I was back in my groove. It felt good.
Somebody, Jason Garrett says, not skin on your laptop. I just got this one in this week. It's
Hey, they
walnut.
may have been talking about mine.
They weren't. I can't move it too much or the stuff will disconnect. It's like a walnut, but kind of busted up looking. Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Fishskins.com.
Oh, yeah. He said nice skin on Matt. See, I like mine better. Mine's prettier. No, I get it, though, because he has his wood, and it's a woodworking channel. I see how he is.
Wood.
I see how he is, though. Hertz Woodwork said, how do you like the Makita miter saw? I've wanted that same saw for a while, but I keep talking myself out of it.
It's a good saw. Now, it's not perfect, but it's good. So when I first got it, I was thinking that it was too big. I was like, man, this thing's massive. And I just kept thinking that. And then I put the DeWalt beside it and set it down where the miter saw is going to go. And then I was looking at them side by side. I was like, oh, it's a lot smaller than the DeWalt. So it's actually the footprint it takes up smaller than the DeWalt, wide and deep. And the only issue that I'm kind of concerned about is when you do a sliding cut on it, when you pull the saw away from the dust boot that's mounted on the back of the saw, it throws a lot of sawdust like straight up in the air. If it's locked in and you're just doing a plunge cut like it's in its regular position, it sucks up probably 95% of the dust when it's connected to a shop vac, or a dust extractor. But that's the only concern I have is the sliding cut. Now, luckily, I don't do a whole lot of those, but other than that, I like it. Excuse me. The way it tilts, I absolutely don't like that. It's the little round knob. If you watch somebody's review where they have to twist it and it just click, 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 and then you can bevel, I don't like that at all. And I would rather it be faster. I guess what I'm saying. Other than that, it's a good saw.
Aprila says my favorite pastime is baking. What's your favorite thing to bake? My favorite thing to bake is bread, homemade bread.
She good at y'all.
Love making homemade bread. I don't have a bread maker. I don't want one. I like making homemade bread from scratch by hand.
It's good.
I like kneading it and doing it myself. So I don't use a bread maker. And I made some. Didn't I make you some focaccia bread the other day?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Love making homemade breads. Love it.
Greg Prodanos says, I have a non-sliding DeWalt miter saw. Is it worth spending the cash on a slider given the saw I have is awesome aside from no slide? I mean, it's personal.
Becca.
If you cut a lot of wider cross cuts, then you'll see the benefit. If you don't, I wouldn't worry about it. I mean, if what you got's working. The only reason I upgraded from my DeWalt to the Makita is the space savings behind the saw, because I wanted the miter station to go against the wall to save that floor space. Other than that, I love the DeWalt. That's my first big power tool purchase, and I'm having a hard time letting it go. I'm going to pass it along, but man.
I haven't made cinnamon rolls in a while. Homemade cinnamon rolls.
Sure
I haven't made those since before I broke my arm.
Yeah, it's about time.
It's been a while since I made those. Gosh. Yeah, it's been since before I broke my arm.
Long time.
So has it been 2 years since it's been 2 years since I broke my arm. Yeah, it's been a while.
George Clemens says, are you planning to go to Workbench Con on 2023? Not sure. Maybe.
I think we are wanting to.
We might.
For sure.
We're leaning more toward it than we were last year.
Yeah, because the thing that was holding us back on going to it this year was
we already had a planned schedule.
Well, it was because I didn't want to miss so much of school.
Oh, yeah. That too.
But this is the last year I plan on working anyway, so
yeah. Sick Williams says, is 8 1/4 DeWalt table saw good for beginning woodworker? It is. If you can save up to get the 10-inch model, I think you'll be happier with it longer. But if you just need to make ripping boards down, then yeah, the 8 1/4 do you just fine.
So Richard McCormick said, have you ever thought of making an old school stereo cabinet with a record player inside? That would be fantastic.
No, but I've sent somebody Rio the other day. I sent him a picture of it. It's what we had as a kid.
That would be fantastic, though, because I grew up with one of those in my aunt and uncle's house, Charlie's house.
Yeah.
So Charlie, our dog, our girl dog, the reason her name is Charlie is because my cousin and I, Charlie was my cousin's name, but he was a boy. But Charlie, our dog, is a girl. Charlie was my best friend growing up, my cousin Charlie. And I stayed at his house growing up, and they had one of those, and I loved it. It never worked, but they had one. I mean, we never got to listen to music on it, but we played with it all the time. Like, we hid stuff in it, and we did all kinds of stuff. I loved that thing. Like, I thought it was the coolest thing ever. I always wanted it to play music.
Yep.
That would be so super cool.
My mom used to listen to it all the time. Javier says, I'd love to send you guys a couple of bookmarks as gifts. Is there a way I can do that? Yeah, man, that'd be awesome. P.O. Box 731. She can put it in the chat for us. P.O. Box 731, Monticello, Arkansas, 716.
I knew my mouse was dying. Oh, no, there it goes. I know, but.
Mm-hmm. Tony Hung says, when you first started your business, did you know what would sell? No. So the first thing I ever made to sell was Jay Bates outdoor chairs. There's free plans he's got on there. I made those and posted. She come home and staged them for me, and we posted them on the internet, and they sold. So I made another set, and they sold. Then I made a bench, and that sold. And then I made like a coffee table. It was really terrible looking, and it didn't sell for a long time. It finally did. I had to drop the price really low. And so it's just, and then I make a couple other things that would, and then a couple of things that wouldn't. So it's just more trial and error to figure out what people would buy in this area.
God is Good Woodworks. His wife made strawberry shortcake yesterday and again today.
It's awesome.
She and his daughter picked fresh berries yesterday morning. Oh my gosh. I love strawberry shortcake. Oh my gosh.
With the whipped cream.
Mm-hmm. Like, I love that. Oh my goodness. Now I want some of that. Jeez. Thanks a lot.
Oh, you know what you missed?
What? What time is it?
7:32.
My timer's not on this one. Hey, you know what time it's not?
It ain't power tip time no more.
It's 1 minute past power tip time. You got to power tip.
I got a quote.
My new computer doesn't have the time up in the corner.
Got a quote.
We got a quote.
Power tip. The greatest mistake a man can ever make is to be afraid of making one. Albert Hubbard.
That's the power tip. 1 minute late.
That's all right. It's okay. A good one, though.
It's a good one. Tell us why. Why is that?
Man, if you're always afraid of making mistakes, you're not going to try. And you're not going to try, then you're not going to succeed at anything. It doesn't matter if you're going after a new job. It doesn't matter if you're chasing a dream. It doesn't matter if you're trying to play a better Xbox game. If you're not willing to fail or make a mistake, then it's never going to happen for you.
I want to follow that one up with this. Mistakes have the power to turn you into something better than you were before. I don't know who said, let's see. I don't know what if that's an actual.
It's just a meme thing.
Yeah, that's just a thing. But mistakes do have power. And I tell my students that every year, that mistakes have the power to do something for you. Mm-hmm. If you are scared of making a mistake, then you're scared of living, because life comes with mistakes.
Yep.
Life is messy. Life is not perfect. Perfection does not exist. Nothing is perfect. Mm-hmm. We posted some charcuterie boards on our website this week. I posted them yesterday. And my favorite one that I posted was one that had an imperfection on the handle yesterday. It was the last one I posted. And when I posted it, I said we lovingly called that one our Charlie board. And the reason I called it the Charlie board is because it had an imperfection. And I named it the Charlie board because Charlie is our little Italian greyhound, and she was born with an imperfection. And I said that we are going to call it that because it was my favorite little one. Mm-hmm. Because it's imperfect, and so are we. We're all imperfect. And so, if you're scared of making a mistake, then you're never going to be successful in life.
Michelle Cochelle says, I'm making my 2 elementary age homeschool desk, school-aged homeschool desk. No plans. What mistakes did you make when doing this? Typically, the mistakes will be You cut something too short or too long.
Mm-hmm.
Too long is not really a mistake because you can always fix that.
Yeah,
one.
that's right.
The too short one is I done that making the miter station. It's in the video. I left it in there. I cut something too short. And I'm like, man. But that's usually the mistakes you're going to make. And maybe the sizing, make sure they're not, if you're going to make for like little kids, you want them to be able to sit basically like we are. So have them sit down and figure out where their arms are going to be placed so that it's a little more ergonomic for them. That's what I would think.
Somebody, who was it? Somebody said, I thought you named, the Ginger Ninja said, I thought you named it Charlie because of Charlie Brown, LOL.
That's funny.
When he brought that one in, he told me, he said, there's a little part on the end that I had to fix it. And I was like, so when I got ready to list that one, I said, what's the name of this one called? And he told me the name of it. And I was like, no, I said, I'm going to name this one the Charlie board, because it had like the little imperfection on the end. And so it was my favorite one to list. I don't know.
Mary Man says his like button once if you like support 731. If you don't want to support 731, then hit the dislike button twice. I like that.
That's awesome. That's why I like Married Man.
413 says
so funny.
The biggest risk is not taking one.
That's right. Oh, yes, Mike. So we are still going to do the bragging page. I've tried to figure that out.
I kept her busy this week.
He did. He kept me really busy. But I was trying to figure that out. And I was going to try to do that thing where we set it up. And
pre-roll video.
Well, he told me that the email thing wasn't going to work the right way. So I've got to figure out some other way to do it. And it's been a crazy week. So
yeah, we're working.
Yeah, I'm working on it, but I promise I'm getting that set up, and I got to figure out, I think what I'm going to do is set up I don't know, I got to figure it out. Married Man, will you email me and tell me how you let people send you the stuff? Let me send you my email, or let me put it in the comments, Married Man. How do you let people send you
He got mine.
Okay, will you
messages on Facebook?
Will you send him a message and tell him how you let people send you the stuff that you put on your what do you call that?
Pre-roll.
Mm-hmm. How do you set that up where people? Because I'd like to put it. I don't even know what you call it. To put it on there before the show starts. Pre-roll. Okay, pre-roll. How they send that to you? Whatever. I'm so tired. Mo woke us up at what time this morning? 5?
Mm-hmm.
She woke me up at like 5 a.m. this morning. So I'm really tired. And it's just been a long week. Okay, thank you, Married Man.
John Faulkner says, greetings from Eastern Oklahoma. One question, how many hours per week do you spend on woodworking, not content creation, when you decide to go full-time? So I'm a content creator. So I always tell people I am a content creator, not a woodworker. So I'm not a full-time woodworker. Before I done content creation full-time, I spent quite a lot of time in the shop. That's pretty much most of my time was spent woodworking. Now most of my time is spent editing videos or researching ideas or making the videos themselves. Last week, though, I was in the shop for about 50, 60 hours. I don't know. I was out there from about 7 a.m. till 4 p.m., 5 p.m. every day, building a miter stand. And some of that time I was scratching my head and thinking about what I wanted. And I spent a whole lot more time planning and thinking about the project than starting it. I kept second-guessing myself and wondering if this was going to work and laying stuff on the floor and seeing if it was going to fit where I wanted it to fit. And so, but anyway, typically my week involves a lot more content creation than woodworking.
Mr. Clark, we are planning on moving to Tennessee.
Maybe. We don't know.
Yeah, that's where we're hoping. But
kind of the idea.
It's about 2 years out because our youngest son still has 2 years of college left. That's the plan as of now. But we are still hoping to maybe visit some other areas between now and then. And a lot of things can change between now and then. Mo is wanting to apply to some colleges in some different areas, and hopefully get into a PhD program. If she gets into a PhD program somewhere, and it's somewhere that we could potentially see ourselves, that may change our plans if it's somewhere that we could be. Because if we could go somewhere where she could live with us while she was in her PhD program, and it was somewhere where our son would be willing to live with us and we could help them, then there's so many different variables everywhere that I don't know.
Guys, good woodwork. So what part of Tennessee are we looking at?
Hey, PJ.
South of Nashville, 45 minutes to an hour-ish.
Yeah, not in Nashville, but because our youngest son's not willing to, he doesn't want to be in Nashville. He said,
I don't want to be downtown either.
Yeah, we don't either, because we're
almost
we're small town people.
We rednecks, folks. We don't need to be up in the city.
We're so used to living
rednecks.
We're used to living in a small town. I think it would, if we moved ourselves somewhere like Nashville, I think I would.
Traffic.
I think I would go nuts. Like, I don't think I would adjust well.
I'd
I really
stay home
don't.
And make videos.
I don't think I would adjust well. I really do like being able to jump into my car. Like today, I had to go pick up my daughter's dog's medicine from the vet, and I like being able to drive up there and be back home in 5 minutes. I like that. And so I don't think I would adjust well. And I like being able to make 2 or 3 stops quickly. And I don't know. I just don't think I would adjust well to a really busy area like that.
Kai Hamilton says, what do you think about power carving? I think it's awesome. I've never done it, but so Eric wrote, and we had them as guests on the show a few weeks ago, and they made me a sign and they did power carving on it. That thing is beautiful. I like it. So I've never done it, but it looks awesome.
Yeah, Becca, I'm worried about, I don't know.
Raylyn Riley says, have you ever had a good streak with no mistakes and then everything you touch make a mistake after mistake? How do you go about mentally repairing 5 amazing orders and 10 bad mistakes? It happens to me. You can ask her. We was working on the floor. I got so mad because I kept cutting the wrong way under a door frame, just over and over and over. Every time I go out there and make the cut, it would be backwards, and I would take the piece with me and still cut it backwards. So it happens to everybody. It's usually best just to take a good break. And it's like the router video. I just made 6 mistakes back to back to back, and they were the same ones every time. If I would have just taken a step back instead of being like, I'm going to do it. So.
Mr. Clark, definitely nowhere cold.
Yeah, we don't like cold weather.
I will not be coming to Colorado.
We are rednecks.
Cannot handle cold. I have been, see this sweater? I took it off because when this door's closed, it does
warms up.
Get warm in here. But I've been wearing my sweater outside. What's the temp been here?
95 degrees, 100%.
I've had my sweater
humidity.
on outside here. And he's been making fun of me. I have been freezing my booty off here in Arkansas. Since I've lost weight, I've not been warm in Arkansas. Yeah. I've been freezing, y'all. My neighbors probably think I'm crazy.
Yeah,
I've been wearing my sweater outside. Yeah.
Still time to send you Christmas ornaments? Jorge wants to know.
Yes, I'm fixing to do that. As soon as the 4th of July is over and my tree gets, when I take my 4th of July tree down, it's going to be the 731 tree. So, yes, I need to get that something sent out. We need to do an email for that.
Yeah. God is Good Woodwork says, are you guys close to the Ozarks? No, we're South Arkansas, southeast, actually.
I've been so cold. No, I can't, Mackenzie. I cannot lose the sweater. I've been freezing. I've made him keep the temperature in the house on 75. That's been our, agreed. He's been burning up, and I've been freezing. He's been putting extra blankets on me. Like, he'll walk through the house and feel bad for me. I've been sitting in my chair with a blanket over me and my sweater on. It's been pretty bad.
Yeah.
It's been bad. Oh, I've been so cold.
I just saw a question. Oh, JC Ghostin says, I miss your workings. Where are your videos? Well, you're in luck because I got a miter station build coming out. So.
Somebody asked what your next build plan or your next build was after the miter station. What do you think it's going to be?
I already kind of know unless you go to the plans. I want to build. So it's basically, don't freak out. It's going to be for my CNC, but it can be used as an assembly table. That's basically my premise. Make an assembly table
Yeah, you tell me about that.
That's nesting. So in other words, it's going to have space underneath it so that stuff can roll underneath it. So it'll if you wanted to use it as a work table, you could, and then you can roll some other tools or storage underneath it, and basically small shops type stuff. Because 2-car garage, and I'm starting to try to optimize that space. This miter stand and wall did a dang amazing job. I mean, it's just like I can't explain how much room I have now. I feel like I need to buy something. That's so much more room for activities.
Jackie, I have my thyroid checked every 6 months. I have to because I only have one thyroid and my levels are good. My levels are good, but I've lost weight recently. And since I've lost weight, it's been like a month and a half since I've lost a little bit extra weight, and literally I've been cold ever since.
Jay Moore says, if it hasn't already been asked, any suggestions where to sell your work? That's different now. But when I started 5 years ago, I was selling on Facebook, and it was easy to sell on there.
But now, Facebook Marketplace,
some people are still having success with that, and some people aren't. So I would try that first, especially on your own personal feed. And that way you get friends and family that's already you're following, and they're following you to see your stuff. That's going to be your best bet for your initial sales, in my opinion. I mean, it's like the go-to place for older people and younger people. Like, I never had any success selling on Instagram, and I don't do TikTok much. I do a little bit, but I need to do it more. But people are mean there, and I don't like it.
People are mean there. I'm not a TikTok person.
They're meaner than they are on Facebook, YouTube.
I do not like it that my time doesn't stay on here. Let me do the states really quick.
Get it.
Let me get these states done. All right, we have Texas, South Dakota, North Dakota, South Carolina, North Carolina, Virginia, West Virginia, Arizona, Missouri, Florida, Louisiana, Georgia, Canada, New Jersey, California, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Delaware, Indiana, Arkansas, Puerto Rico, New York, Minnesota, Germany, Wisconsin, Iowa, Illinois, Colorado, Alabama, Tennessee, Vermont, Maine, Michigan, Brazil, Kentucky, Idaho, and Japan.
Brazil.
And they even put A on Canada. They said Canada,
Canada, Olive Tree Woodcraft says, Matt, what was your biggest mistake when you started out? I think, looking back, I think one of my biggest mistakes was not seeing the potential of social media. And I
Oklahoma.
While it has been a huge blessing for us and it worked out so far, I didn't see it. I didn't see it coming, and I was posting videos. I was watching. I was doing all the stuff. And I still didn't see it. I was watching all the videos that tell you how to grow your channel. Think Media, Daryl Eves, all those people I was watching. I was listening to everything they said. Think Media was one of them that drove me to set up my first affiliate stuff with Amazon so I could make a 3% commission. First week or first month, I actually got anything. It was like $16 or something. I don't know. I had to wait another month because they don't mail out checks or send money to you if it's not over $25 or something. That's one of the biggest boats I miss. So I'm telling you, if you do social media and you want to grow your business, then you dive into that stuff and learn it and just expect it to grow. I mean, if you're producing content regularly, it'll start growing and just it'll grow naturally or organically, I guess you'd say. I think that's one of the biggest mistakes. I didn't see the potential there. And while it worked out, again, I missed it. Yeah. Awkward.
Is it? Oh, Becca said Step Brothers from a while ago.
Yeah.
When you said that. That's funny. The Pharaoh says that he was originally from Arkansas, but he lives in Oklahoma now. I think he said this was his first time catching us live, too. It scrolled back up, but I think it said so. If so, welcome, the Pharaoh.
Yeah. I think one of the biggest mistakes as beginners make, and even seasoned woodworkers, is getting in a hurry. Mm-hmm. And that's typically when you mess up something or you hurt yourself, especially like you're on a time crunch and you're rushing through things. Every time I start rushing through something, I'll make a mistake. I'll cut the board too short. I'll, miss a measurement somewhere and they just forget a part that goes to it. And it's just so frustrating. And it winds up costing you more time than it would if you just slowed down and took your time. I think it's human nature to get that way. And I don't know how to overcome that other than tell you to slow down, but we all know we're not going to. So
I don't know if you saw this or not. Hertz Woodwork said, have you ever had a hard time selling items with sentimental value? I made a poker table from a walnut tree we cut down from my grandpa's yard 32 years ago when I was 10. Can't bring myself to sell it.
Don't.
Have you ever had a hard time selling something like that?
I don't know that have I sold anything that's sentimental?
I don't know.
I don't think I have. We don't have a whole lot of sentimental stuff here.
I don't know if we have any type.
Like old stuff. Now, I've got some old stuff. I got my grandpa's cane that he had when he was in his older years. And I still have it.
We have items that are sentimental to us that people have sent to us. But now as far as wood that came from somewhere like that,
other than the cane, I wouldn't sell the cane though.
No. But what a cool thing to have, wood that was cut down from 32 years ago. There'd be no way I could sell that either. I would love to have wood from a tree from my dad's house where I grew up. That would be so cool.
Somebody Mike asked about starting a Facebook page. I would recommend it. I've got one for the business. It doesn't hurt because then you can join other woodworking groups and pages and all kinds of stuff as your business page, and you'll show up as that. And then you can, if you post a lot, then you can gain following from that too. Not just posting like, hey, look at me or come buy this thing, but just interacting, like organically engaging on posts and talking to people. Then you'll start gaining followers that way if you want to grow.
Mandy Marie Close says, I finally made it to a live, almost over, but that's okay. That's okay, Mandy Marie. You're here. Mr. Clark, you should not ignore your doctor. Do not lift over 10 pounds for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Do not ignore your doctor, Mr. Clark. No, no, no.
The Pharaoh advice on selling wood in a tourist town. I live near Hochatown, Oklahoma. I've never heard of that, but if people are coming there, they're going to want to take souvenirs away from there. If they're coming to visit, they're going to want those keepsakes and things like that. So whatever that town's known for, whatever's drawing them there, if you can make spin-offs of wood creations on that stuff, even if it's like cutting boards and serving trays with laser engraved of the town or whatever the emblem is for your town or whatever they're coming for, like little stuff like that, or even smaller things. You could definitely capitalize on that.
Brian, I would take humidity over traffic also.
I don't know. Arkansas humidity is pretty bad.
I don't know, though. He's talking about the bustle of L.A. County in California versus
no. I wouldn't live in
the slower pace of the Mid-South. Yeah, I would take the humidity.
I won't tell you. I don't really get involved in a whole lot of stuff. Me and California wouldn't get along anyway. I can't think that way.
Yeah, I'm a Southern person. I like the slower pace. What is it? Not Biloxi, but the other part.
Long Beach?
Long Beach. Mm-hmm. Long Beach, Mississippi. It's like the water there it's not water you're going to want to swim in. The beach part of it the sand is pretty. The water is gross. But just to look out and just it's calm and relaxing. You're not going to get in the water.
Slow pace of life.
The water's gross. But it's like beach meets south. You're driving through magnolia trees and then all of a sudden you see palm trees and sand. It's beautiful there. I love going to Long Beach, Mississippi just to, I don't know.
Relax.
Just to relax.
Awesome there at Christmas time.
Yes, awesome. Like winter time because I don't want to get in the water there anyway. It's just quiet. There's not a lot of traffic ever. It's just always
peaceful.
There's not a lot of people there. Even during the summertime, there's just not a lot of people there because there's miles and miles and miles and miles of sand and there's miles between where people park to go to the beach because there's not people getting in the water, and it's just, I love it. And so I don't know, that's my kind of place if I'm going to be somewhere.
Larry Broom says, I bought a Bosch sander. It cost me $249. Is it worth it? It cut my sanding time in half. Is it worth it to you? Is your time worth it? I would say so. I mean, if it cut it in half, yeah, I would think so. Billy Finn says, I have a question. Would you get a router I would like to get a router. Should I get a plunge or a trim router? I actually made a video just a few weeks ago on which router I think you should buy first. It actually comes with a fixed and a plunge base, so you get the best of both worlds. It costs about $200. It's a DeWalt. It's on Amazon. Go check that video out, and it'll show you all the features. That's the router I should have bought first because it can do most everything you need. It can do a bunch. Like I've worked that router a lot.
Becca and PJ, both of those areas, we need to check those out.
Jackie Fernandez says, I ordered a bunch of plan sets, but now they've disappeared. How do I access and download them? Email me and let me know what your email address was and your if you don't know your order number, just tell me your email address you used when you ordered it. I can reissue the download link for those. The reason that happens is Squarespace puts a 24-hour limit on your download link, and then it expires. They say it's for security reasons. I don't know what that means. They should just send it to me or let you have it all the time. Anyway, email me and I'll refresh the link and you'll be able to get all your stuff. Yeah, I probably missed some. If I did, I apologize.
What'd you miss?
Questions, I'm assuming.
David Turner, I don't think we've ever come to the Alabama coast or Gulf Shores, Orange Beach. We always go to Destin in the summertime. We never really go to the Gulf Shores area, Orange Beach area.
We drive by
them, but we don't stay there. A lot of people from our town go there. A lot of people here go there. A lot of our friends go there. But we usually drive by it. We go to Destin every summer. I think my sister goes to Gulf Shores with her friends about every summer.
Guy Martin wants to know what 731 references. It's our anniversary, July 31st is when we got married, when we met. So we went with 731.
See, Becca, the tourism, that's the part that gets us. I hate that. It's going to be hard finding an area that we want to come to if it has a huge tourism rate during part of the year. It's going to be hard for us to pick an area if it's got that with our youngest son. That's the part we got to be careful of, is picking somewhere because of
traffic,
his issues.
I think there's
16 girls. Oh my goodness. 16 girls.
Mm-hmm. 6 teenage girls.
I know, that's what I mean. 16 girls. Whoo.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Bless you. When we would have those sleepovers, when our daughter would have her sleepovers. Oh.
Brian Donahoe says, I want to be first a woodworker, then a content creator. Unfortunately, the only way to success is content creator. I don't believe that. No, I don't believe it. I think it's not easy to make it woodworking full time. Me and another guy was talking about it on Instagram. I don't think it's going to be very difficult to make it as a full-time woodworker selling small items. In other words, you're going to have to sell a ton of stuff. Like if you're making small things and you're wanting to be full-time and you're selling for $40 or $50 a piece, that's going to be extremely hard to make enough money to sustain you. If you're selling big items, that's different because you can sell them for more profit and just start taking orders. And it's just, in my opinion, I'm not doing it full time, so I don't know as a woodworker. But in my opinion, if you look at people who are making it full time, you're going to see they're making larger items, or they're making tons and tons of smaller items like cutting boards. And by tons, I mean hundreds of them. Just my opinion.
Yeah, Becca, I don't think he would adjust. We've had a rough week with him this week. Last night was my fault.
You would. Can you be a content creator and a woodworker? It seems you gave up the woodworking to be a content creator. Do you miss it? I still woodwork. I still build what I want to build. I don't miss being 20 orders deep and having to repeat the same thing over and over and over and over. I get to choose what I build now. So I've been blessed and I'm quite happy with how things are. So I don't know. I basically build what I want to build. Raylan Riley says, what would your recommendation to get samples made to display while you're busy making orders? I'm not sure what that means. Do you?
What would your
What would your recommendation be to get samples made to display while you're busy making orders? So you mean like having product available for people to look at, maybe?
Maybe. Some people, we never had any samples or anything. 40 minutes from, she said Auburn University, yuck. That's
What's
funny.
woodworking? Lincoln Woodwork says.
That's funny, PJ. I don't know where she's going to want to go, though.
Swigs 360 says, do you have a bigger shop somewhere or only the garage you show in your videos? It's only the garage, man.
That's all he's got. That's it.
See, here's what's funny about that. A few months ago, we were talking about possibly moving and maybe getting a shop or building a shop here if we stayed. And I was like, I like the garage feel. And I don't know. And somebody suggested, well, you should just build basically a studio that looks like a garage in a bigger shop. That way you have all the bigger shop, but then when you film, you're in the studio. I was like, that doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel right.
That's all he's got out there.
Yeah, it's just a garage.
Becca, I made a big mistake last night, and I caused a
meltdown.
I went and bought pizza rolls and Doritos and all kinds of stuff to make up for it today. I tried to make
Mary, man, I'm fixing to dabble in some epoxy, so we may have some triggered stuff going on later.
Well,
there's a video being edited now on some epoxy trays. We'll see.
Oh my goodness. Well, it is after 8.
It is.
It is.
It's that time again.
It's after 8.
Wonder if I can get the copyright to that song Closing Time. Remember that one back from the 90s?
No, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Man. Y'all go listen to Closing Time. I forgot who sings it. Just search it.
I don't even know what you're talking about. Did the snacks help? Because I know snacks help me. Well,
I like snacks.
He seemed to be fine today, so I think they did. But man, it was a rough one. He was getting on to me. He was like, "You know better. You know better. You know better."
Matchbox 20 closing time.
I was trying to help.
That sounds
Matchbox 20.
I think that's right.
Closing time.
Is it right?
I don't know. I don't even know what you're talking about.
Hold on. We got a minute.
It's after 8.
Closing time.
Country music. Good thing.
Country breakfast. What?
Country breakfast? Is that what you just said?
Semisonic is the one. Closing time is what I'm thinking about.
Lincoln Street Woodwork said
Semisonic. There you go, man.
Semisonic. Oh my goodness. Y'all have a good week.
Yeah, have a good night. Go listen to Semisonic Closing Time.
Oh my goodness. Have a good week. Good night, y'all.